Yeah, well, I think it's important that we continue to humanize the statistics behind gun violence. Every single day, more than 120 Americans are killed, and it's not just a person who's impacted, it's the rest of their family. And as a survivor of a school shooting, I'm having to deal with that trauma every single day. Most Americans are going into buildings and looking for the exits, and I'm doing that as well. And it just shows that, even if you don't go through a shooting, the fact that Americans are scared that a shooting could happen at any point shows how bad the gun violence problem has gotten in our country. And as a survivor of a shooting, it just breaks my heart every time I see another shooting, because I know that those students are going to have to live with that trauma for the rest of their lives. And especially with young people, they should not have to deal with that for just going to school.
They should not have to deal with it, and I'm reminded of that by people like David Hogg every time we say, oh, these young people are so brave, these young people are organizing. You should not have to be this brave. You should not have to be doing this organizing. That work should have been done by the generations before you. And man, gun safety front and center in Tennessee since the Covenant school shooting. You had the state legislature adjourning abruptly last week without taking up the issue. But then Friday, the governor announced plans to call lawmakers back to the state capitol for a special session focused on guns. Your sense as an organizer, is the political pressure from groups like yours working? And where are sort of the buttons that need to be pushed to make sure that you don't lose momentum?
Well, I definitely think that our measures have been working. The Vanderbilt chapter has been organizing rallies and marches these past couple weeks at the Capitol. We organized one a couple weeks ago that had 7,000 attendees that came and advocated for the safety of their lives. And lawmakers have no choice but to listen. They can't turn away from us because young people were the constituents. They have to listen. Every bill and law that is passed affects young people, voting age or not. And so they really have no choice but to hear us, hear our leads, and we have to hold them accountable as safe. And I think that starts with educating yourself, educating others, and pressure lawmakers to pass background checks, pass red flag laws, pass laws that keep you safe.
Even educating yourself, educating others, and understanding and believing that every one of those calls, every one of those text messages, every one of those faxes sent that clogs up the fax machine actually does catch the attention of leaders. I mean, sorry, I'm struck by the fact that a lot of this feels like two steps forward, one step forward, two steps back. In the wake of the shooting at your high school, students' protest, it drove real change on guns in the state, change that happened fairly quickly. Now you have Governor Ron DeSantis signing legislation that's allowing residents to carry a concealed, loaded weapon without a permit. Does that feel like a step back?
Yeah, and it's just frustrating. That policy is reckless. More than 77% of Floridians oppose permitless carry. And when we have a gun violence problem this bad, why is Ron DeSantis letting people now go into public with guns and not having a permit or requirement or any safety training? And it just goes to show that Ron DeSantis continues to put politics over people's lives. And what we did in Florida after the shooting was, huge momentum, and that momentum has carried across the country. More states are passing red flag laws, and we see agreement between Democrats and Republicans. This isn't just a one-sided issue. People understand that gun violence is a crisis right now, and that there are common sense policies like red flag laws, like universal background checks, that the majority of Americans support, and that Republican or Democrat governors can continue to implement. So I do think it is one step backwards, and it's going to cause severe consequences. We see even road rage incidents with guns increasing in Florida. And we're going to see, those type of statistics continue to happen if we have these reckless gun violence policies, and instead we need gun violence prevention policies.
Evan, I imagine that there are those who are watching who admire the fight. They want to join. What is your message about how you push for change in your own community?
I think definitely making sure, along with educating yourself, attending rallies, attending protests, testifying at your local legislator, contacting your local Students Demand Action group, your college or high school, and working with them. And if there isn't a Students Demand Action group in your high school or college, starting one. Don't be afraid to be the first person that creates change and sort of stirs the water, because that's what we need right now in order to create change. We need student leaders who are impassioned, and not afraid to create change in their community.